The Station Inn is a real landmark on Beverley Road, and it's a real historical asset for this area. Because it dates back to the 1860s, it's got a very rich history, and that includes the Blitz, but also much more. Lots of ordinary and extraordinary moments will have happened here for lots and lots of people.
Well, my name is Janet Barker. I was born in 1933, and we moved to this pub with my parents in 1935. So my memories really, my childhood memories are all of here. People used to smoke, and the beer used to be spilled on the carpet or on the tables. And when the old men used to come in, they had spittoons on the floor. And then the old women who used to come in, the little snug where the window was, that was their snug. People had different roads that they associated with. We were Beverley Roaders. It was regarded as one of the best roads because it had some fine buildings, the swimming bath, a lot of nice big houses, Pearson Park, of course. And the shopkeepers were very welcoming. I remember it all pre-war as, very happy. And then suddenly, woof, this great announcement was made that we were going to be at war and life would change. And it did, of course, change very much. Once they issued the ration cards, then all the shopkeepers, the grocers, had to then deal with all this, of course. Food was possible to get hold of, but you could only get your share, and you got that every week. There would be air raid wardens, the people, the older men with the tin hats would be air raid wardens, and they'd go around checking to make sure there were no lights at all visible, even a tiny chink. And if you had a showing bit of light, they would knock on the window and shout, "Put that light out!"
At this time, Hull is the third port of the country. It is a huge manufacturing maritime centre, so it's of huge importance to keeping the country running and waging a war. And Beverley Road itself and this area is also at the heart of that. So there's things like the docks along the River Humber, there's oil refineries at Saltend, but then there's also the factories that line Stone Ferry and Bankside, and Skulkirk Power Station, which is a stone's throw away. So there are some maps in the collections of the Imperial War Museum, and those maps showed the German Air Force that this was the target, and actually they showed them that the way to find that power station was to follow the train lines through Beverley Road, which ran just along us here at the Station Inn.
The bombers used to come over night after night after night. And it was, the Blitz was very bad. And of course, in this particular area, Cave Street, that a lot of those were flattened. We started off with the very early sirens sitting under our dining room table. I remember sitting there, this was in the very early days of the war, and my mother's legs, she'd got a handbag with all our documents in case, but she got her legs and feet sticking out, and I shouted to her, "Mum, you might get your feet blown off." It was frightening. They built this enormous air raid shelter in what was the sort of square at the side of this pub so that everybody could use it. When the sirens went and you had your gas mask and everything ready by the side of your bed, and you would put something warm on and you would all go into the air raid shelter, and that would be full of all the local people who'd managed to get there. You could hear the planes coming over, and you could hear when they were, getting lower, then you could hear the sound of bombs dropping. We used to sing the songs and try and raise our spirits when the planes were coming over, but in the end, it became very difficult. Going out in the morning after the air raids, you would go out and there would be telegraph poles down, and there would be cables and wires that you had to pick your way through to get to school. It was very risky. Beverley Road was badly bombed, and it was frightening, and in the end, my mother said that I was beginning to fall on my knees and pray whenever the planes came over, and that decided my father that we had to leave, and that's when we went to live in Doncaster instead.
The Blitz and the Second World War changed Beverley Road forever. So in the immediate aftermath of raids, there was a huge amount of physical damage done to the urban landscape, both on the road and the surrounding areas. So lots of buildings were lost. I've seen estimates that more than 300 houses in this area were completely destroyed. That said, there is still so much rich historical architecture on Beverley Road. We are very lucky that so much of the architecture, the buildings and the histories that they contain still survive for us today. And that's one of the reasons that Beverley Road is a recognised conservation area and has been invested in through the Beverley Road Townscape Heritage Scheme.